Hello, hello, it's Catherine here and welcome to another vlog. And today it's just me. And this vlog is inspired by one of my network meetings that I go to. We were talking about stories, and this made me think about some of the defining stories that are through my life. And so I thought I would share some of them with you, getting to know you, getting to know me. So the first part of my story, I think, starts with just always knowing that I wanted to be a nurse. A bit of a cliche, maybe, but I just knew. One, I knew that I didn't want to work behind a desk. And two, I knew that I wanted to help people, and nursing for me encompassed all of that. Before I even started training to be a nurse, I lost my dad to cancer, and coincidentally, it was actually 25 years ago to the day today that I'm recording it. I can't believe it's absolutely flown by. And so this really, that spurred me on to carry on down the nursing path. And ironically, when I did my chemotherapy training, the first person that I ever treated had exactly the same cancer as my dad. So it really was a driving force behind it. So that was my first kind of defining story. The second one, I think we whiz on something like 20 years now. So actually towards the end of my nursing career, when I'm actually working on the wards. I remember looking around this waiting room and just thinking that if these people in here really paid attention to their own health and fitness, that they wouldn't even need to be in here in the first place. Now, I know that that's a grand sweeping statement, and maybe if they'd really looked after themselves, they'd have still ended up in hospital with conditions and diseases that they had, but maybe they wouldn't be in there quite so much, and maybe they'd have a fighting chance of living with these conditions and diseases better than they were at the moment. And I really felt that I wanted to be on the healthier side of healthcare, preventing people actually ending up in hospital in the first place, ensuring that it was easy to be able to incorporate a good nutrition into your lives, that it was easy and fun to incorporate exercise into your life, and to really flag up the fact that mindset has a massive part to play in all of this. So that was kind of the beginning of the end of my nursing, and then more into full-time into my fitness and wellbeing coaching. Slightly before this time, I suffered with very acute and chronic anxiety, and so this is my third defining story. And as much as the anxiety was awful, was the absolute pits, I am massively grateful to it, because without it, my life would not have spun round completely changed. And so through the very anxious times, for me, exercising was like light relief. When I exercised, I didn't feel anxious, I felt free, I felt alive. And we all know that exercise does that for us. All the endorphins flowing, and just either not thinking of anything or just thinking of what you're doing for yourself was always a bit of light relief from that kind of crushing feeling of the anxiety. I discovered lots and lots of self-development and self-help all the way through this. Again, massively grateful for all of that. I found meditation. I decluttered my life. I made it more streamlined, far easier for me to be able to cope. And that brings me on to the next point, was I eased the pressure off of myself. I remember sitting in the GP's office in an absolute mess, sobbing and saying, why can't I cope with life? I used to pride myself on being able to spin all the plates and, you know, do all the things. And why now can I not cope with it? And how come everybody else can? Because, you know, it looks like everyone else is doing really well, right? And I mean, this was 5 or 6 years ago, so it was kind of, as we were going into this phase of Instagram and Facebook and everything looking rather rosy and glorious as well. But I just couldn't understand why I couldn't cope with it anymore. He very kindly explains it like we all have a ceiling, and when we get to that ceiling, when we get to the point that we can't cope with anymore, something's got to give, which really I could really identify with. So I carried on helping myself. I completely cut out alcohol. I really concentrated on my nutritional intake, and obviously exercise was very important to me all of the time, but even more so at that point. And then from then on, it was a mission to incorporate all of these things that I'd found that had helped me into my daily life, so that it didn't come back again. So once I had started to feel better, I didn't stop doing all of the things that took me to that place. In fact, I doubled up on them because I was so sure that I didn't want any of those feelings back again. Maybe up until just over a year ago, there was always the fear. I was almost doing that stuff, kind of running in fear of anxiety. And thankfully, last January, so just over a year ago, I found the shift sessions, and I really feel like that again was a massive turning point for me. And if you want to know any more about those, please give me a shout. And I am massively excited to be doing my training in the shift method very soon. So I'm going to be able to facilitate this for other people. And that is my final point with this story, is that it then becomes my life's work to make sure that nobody else feels like this. That I know that all of these techniques, they really work, and there is no reason to be living with anxiety and depression. And so I get to be able to help people with my experiences and with my training coming up to not have to feel like that anymore. And as well as that, to be able to help people not ever feel like that, to not get to the point that they are so overwhelmed with life because they're not putting themselves number one. And that is so important. And a big message, particularly for the ladies, because I know that we almost wear it as a badge, don't we? That we put everybody else in front of ourselves. And that's absolutely not the way to go, ladies. So those are my 3 really defining stories. I'm sure there are so many more that I could think of, but those are the ones that really kind of swerved me into the path that I am at the moment. So let me know if any of these stories resonate with you. I'm pretty sure that parts of it will do, and I hope that it's helped you to get to know me a little bit more. And if you want to tell me a little bit more about you, I would love to know. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about Vitality Rooms, which is how I do my work at the moment, then please give me a shout. And I hope that this vlog finds you very well, fit, healthy and happy. Lots of love to you. Bye bye.